The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
Yeah, he's back.
It's a man without a mask.
The man behind... fucking Alice Cooper songs like kicking my head.
You're welcome. By the way, speaking of Alice Cooper, wow, I already see how this episode's going. New Judas Priest album, fucking stellar.
Really?
They still got it.
Speaking of which, have you heard the new Five Finger Death Punch song with DMX?
No.
Oh, after this is over, you gotta listen to it. It's you know, posthumously featuring DMX called "This Is the Way."
All right.
It's pretty badass. I think it just came out like Monday or Sunday or something like that. So, what are we smoking this week, Brad?
Wasabi.
Wasabi. Going back to those 90s commercials or
Yes.
early 2000s, whenever it was the Wasap.
But yeah, I mean, no joke. We have the Espinosa Wasabi. Note, not made with actual wasabi, although I will say that it's a spicy stick. Like most of the time, I'll talk about cigars having a black pepper taste or something to that effect. This is more of a red pepper, possibly even a cayenne. Like it's prominent.
Yeah, we got a green candela wrapper leaf over a dark habano leaf. Binder and fillers are undisclosed. But yeah, they're saying...
Dun, dun, dun. That's where the wasabi is.
Yeah, they're saying, kind of a black pepper and even a fresh jalapeno, like, is the flavor profile that they're trying to get. So, yeah. Supposedly a spicy stick, and you know how we like spicy, so I was like, fuck, I gotta try it one way or another.
The only thing that's weird to me is the candela, but I get it. You're trying to go for the green of the wasabi, I suppose. I mean, we missed
the candela has that kind of grassy hay-like flavor profile.
We completely missed the mark. We have failed as cigar nerds.
What's that?
Because we should have had a wasabi, a bento box, and one of the
Year of the Dragons. Yeah, we get all the mix this in with all the Chinese New Year's punch cigars. We get like a full Chinese menu meal
of cigars. Because we're well traveled, that.
We're internationally known
by that one guy.
Yeah. Hey, according to my YouTube stats, we got some English. It's like the two most downloaded countries, like USA and the United Kingdom. So I didn't see many Chinese on the list, but I think we had some Korean last time. One time I looked at it, there was a couple Korean hits for some reason.
Does that mean we got to start a K-pop band?
Hell yeah. What was that name we had the other night? Murder Boner? That'll be our K-pop band.
Still working on the copyright. Don't give it away.
Wow. Yeah, I just got a hit of that pepper. There's like just a little bit of, I wouldn't call it heat, but there's like that little burn in like the back of the throat, just like the kind of like the.
I mean, I get it on the tongue, the like lips, and
like
the retro
like a
hell.
Pepper aftertaste.
The retro hell with this guy is pretty spicy.
Well, speaking of retro. New retro even. This week we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And if you got to fight off a Sumerian god, you should call in the Strike Force. StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use your promo code Cigar Nerds for 20% off your order. Get all jacked up on that caffeine, man. Yeah, and small enough to fit in a ghost trap.
What about a ghost trap drone?
I've been wanting a drone. I might have to build me a ghost trap drone.
I tried to fly one of the little pocket drone things.
Yeah.
Dude, I realized I'd probably be very bad at RC cars too, because it's look, it's just gonna hover. You don't need to, but I feel like I need to do all the things all the time.
Yeah, it's like if you let go, it does nothing. You just gotta let go. Oh. Yeah, 'cause I used to race RC cars, so it's been a long time, and I've never tried flying one of the. Cause every time I see videos of those racing drones, I'm like, man, I want one of those. Those look cool as shit. Flying with the VR goggles, so you get that like first person. It's like you're playing fucking F-Zero back in the day, but in the real world. But with that, we're gonna be right back with some Ghostbusters. And welcome back. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters?
Yeah, sure.
Because there's something strange
in their neighborhood. And who you gonna call?
The one Ghostbuster.
So yes, we got Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, sequel to all the previous Ghostbusters except for that one that we don't talk about. But yeah,
Which one's that? Is that the one I didn't see?
Yes, the one I didn't see either.
Okay, so we can't talk about it.
The one that's like not part of the canon, as far as we know.
Rachel said she liked that which shall not be named, but
of course she did. She doesn't like anything we like. If she likes it, usually that's a sign. It probably sucks.
She doesn't like me either.
Welcome to my world.
It's dark and lonely.
Yeah, it's like, my wife tells me all the time, she's like, I love you, but I don't like you very much.
Fuck it. I'm going to the cigar shop.
It's all part of my plan. If you annoy them, they won't call asking when you're coming home. Thank God that fucker went to the cigar shop. I ain't got to deal with him.
How is anything ever going to get done?
I didn't say it was a winning strategy. Yeah, shit's not going to get done, but at least you're not going to be around to deal with it. So sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife from 2021. This one with a different... I didn't because whatever, Jason Reitman wrote and directed the previous installment where he wrote the screenplay for this one, but it was directed by a Gil Keenan. So that could definitely kind of... I don't know, this one had a different feel than Afterlife. A little bit less personal, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
I can kind of, now that I know it wasn't directed by Reitman, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see why it has like a different kind of feel because there's a different director involved.
Yeah, I mean, for what it was, I enjoyed it. Too much of a Stranger Things direction, though, more so than ghost busting.
Well, it's got Finn Wolfhard in it, of course. It's like, it gives everything a Stranger Things feel.
And then the ghost love story thing. I'm not even sure what to make of that. The identity crisis. Like, you're a ghost. I want to be a ghost. Let's be ghosts together.
Yeah, this is
the Juliet and Juliet story. There was no Romeo.
So yeah, this one brings us back to good old New York and the firehouse, and
it was cool seeing the firehouse.
And freaking OG Slimer chilling in the attic. It's like I gotta rewatch Afterlife because Afterlife focused on the kids and being the descendants of Egon, where our OG guys didn't show up till like the very end. Where this one, they're
sprinkled.
a little more involved. I mean, especially Dan Aykroyd. Ray is kind of plays the mentor role here and there, and of course, Winston is the he's like, by the way, I know I gave y'all this firehouse and y'all are like the new Ghostbusters, but really I've got a whole Ghostbuster organization that's going to be supporting all this. Y'all are the face, but yeah, I've got like actual scientists and engineers like building the next generation of ghost shit.
That was the end of your thought.
Yeah.
My bad. I totally missed that cue.
But I did like the whole like paranormal research society or whatever when he's like, they're like, yeah, the containment unit is like breaking down, or like, yeah, it's like there's like 40 years worth of ghosts in there, and they're like, did y'all never like plan to like, if this thing got full? They're like, dude, it was the 80s, like no one was really like worried about the future. But I've already built a new one. So no worries. Like, come check out this. Like, I didn't want to tell y'all about this until it was all done, but yeah, come check out this whole like fucking ghost research thing I've been working on.
I guess the ghosts have mass and volume. Ectoplasm is a thing. So I guess you know. We know. 40 years. That's about how much your average containment unit can withstand.
I mean, usually if you're not on like public sewer, you got to empty out that whatchamacallit.
You mean it doesn't like biodegrade or break down or something?
I mean, it does to a point, but at a certain point you got to get the old septic tank flushed occasionally. So that's basically what this is just their ghost septic tank. Well, I mean, it did get emptied out in the 80s because, like, when Dickless shut the grid down, all the ghosts escape. But they've, had to be refilling it since then.
Yeah, see, I thought that was going to be the direction we were going to get was lots of ghosts and, it's all hands on deck. But alas, we had a couple of minor ghosts and then tall, dark, and horny.
Couple minor ghost hunts, and then just a whole bunch of
Stranger Things
research on one big ghost.
We had Stranger Things, Joe.
I did like the whatever what they call it, the Jersey sewer dragon or whatever. The big flying ghost they're chasing through the city.
I'm just really disappointed that none of our cars have the, roll-out seat.
Yeah, I want a fucking gunner's door. That's that's badass. And like, yeah, because I mean, when last we saw them, the kids were all being wannabe Ghostbusters, and now, the two kids, mom and apparently her new husband, fucking good old Paul Rudd, have all become Ghostbusters. And it's like them having like a family argument while chasing a ghost. Like, I'm gonna go outside. You do not open up that gunner's door. I'm a Ghostbuster. I'm gonna do it. Damn it! Get back in this car. Can't hear you, Mom. I'm outside the vehicle. It's too windy. I can't hear you.
Better to ask forgiveness than permission, I suppose.
And I do like kind of the upgrades to Ecto 1, because we saw the RC ghost trap that we saw in the previous movie, but of course they're doing with a flying ghost. It's like it's outside the range. I can't get it. It's like, hold on, friggin' now we have a flying ghost trap.
It always goes back to the drone.
And apparently those like crappy fake night vision goggles that the Ghostbusters had back then are wired up for VR now, so she can see how she's flying the drone. That's one thing that was kind of cool about this, because like they're still rocking the old. I mean, it's been like 40 years. You think the technology would have advanced, but they're still rocking like the old original packs. And then like once all that shit gets confiscated, and Winston has to show up with his Ghostbusters van, but like the new shit they've been working on, it's like, all right, yeah, y'all got some, got that new shit. I mean, they even had
you know what it is. It's not so much that the technology evolved. It's crap. They can see us buying shit.
We need more merchandising.
Quick, Uh, I'd be curious to go down a toy aisle.
I don't know about, because I haven't been like in an actual toy section, but Hasbro has kind of like the collector's edition shit. I think it's like HasLab. They've got some serious high-end, like, movie quality props.
But that's the problem. It's like, I want the $20 counterpart, not the $2,000,
Well, they do, like, last time I looked, because they only do them, like, limited releases, they had the new, like, the wand part of the Proton Pack, and it was like $150 by itself. But you still had to buy the pack, which I think was another, like, couple $100. And then they had like a set that was like a PKE meter and a ghost trap. So, but yeah, it was like if you're not one of these handy motherfuckers that we see at Dragon Con that build their own Proton packs, you can, if you got the cash, can get some officially licensed shit straight from Hasbro.
I mean, I'm pretty handy, but I severely underestimate how many hours and hours and hours people put into the badass things that I see at cons.
Yeah, it's like, man, that thing costs $1,000, but I'm like, all right, how much is my time worth? If I try to build this myself, yeah, it'll be cheaper, but it's going to take a lot longer.
200 hours later.
Yeah. 3 Dragon Cons later. Hey, I finally finished that thing I started for 3 Dragon Cons ago.
I wonder how often that happens.
Oh.
Where it's like you have this grand thing where it's just like, yeah, this totally doing the thing, and then crap, I don't have enough time. Pivot to something else.
I think every time we see like a costume that's from like a viral property that is like 4 years old, that's what happened. What is this costume? It's the costume from that movie that came out like 4 or 5 years ago. It took me this long to build it.
COVID?
Yes.
That's going to be my viral costume. I'm literally going to go as a virus.
I think I saw a couple of those last year.
I mean, how long has it been since we had a COVID?
Did we?
We had the flu, Joe, but
the butt flu.
It's still called COVID. Made my head hurt. Gave it to all of my friends.
Haha, I didn't get it. We're not friends.
We are sworn mortal enemies. Frenemies?
It's the power of the smoke. The power of the smoke will protect you.
I mean, I was smoking hella cigars all throughout, that bullshit. And then I would get it years later when it's off the map and I'm not smoking near as many cigars.
That's why I never got it. It was like I was... I always kept my lungs full.
You can't infect what's already infected by smoke. Ha ha ha.
There's a nice crusty layer over my lungs that protects it from other things. They're nice and caramelized.
My lungs have Kevlar. Whoa. Lung Kevlar.
Oh. But yeah, we this one was just loaded with like, I felt like they did like the last one there was
a continuous story.
Yes, where this one there was a lot of like little side quests, and it seemed like there was a lot of shit that was just like, oh, we're doing this strictly for the nostalgia that we didn't include in the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I felt
like Reitman wrote a good love letter to the fans, and then this second movie they're kind of like, all right, the last shit was successful. Now we need to capitalize on the nostalgia and just throw a bunch of like rando shit in here. Because I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of like skits.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. Like you had, the female, ghost love story aspect. You had what's his face that was present, but what was his arc in all of this?
He was just like, I'm 18 now. Y'all should I'm a grown ass man. Y'all should let me drive the car. And then he's like, hey mom, there's like a ghost in the attic. She's like, well, you're a Ghostbuster. You're a grown ass man. Why don't you go take care of it? You're like, fine, I will. And you get his whole little side story of him like constantly trying to like Wile E. Coyote catch the Slimer and getting, but he never did like. He never said the thing. He never said like he slimed me, right? I mean, he gets slimed and he just goes, "Yep," and I'm like, "No, dude, say the thing. You got to say the thing, or you don't get the full nostalgia points."
That's the next film. They had to save some parts of nostalgia, but that was the other thing is, the rest of it was, hey, we're just going to sprinkle in, nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia, which was cool to see as a fan of, the OG Ghostbusters and everything, but I don't know. I'm with you. Like this, I had it in my head that, hey, we're Ghostbusters, and it was going to be focused all on the team, but it was like, no, we're going to focus on separate aspects of each individual within the teams.
Yeah.
That's me calling the ghost.
I mean, we've gotten, it's three-ish years later from the things that happened in the previous movie. So we kind of, I guess, skipped over the training montage, but I would have liked to have seen like Winston more hands-on, like, all right, you're all the new Ghostbusters. Let me train y'all to be Ghostbusters, and we jumped directly into them being Ghostbusters.
Well, not really. I mean, apparently you got to be 18.
Yeah. But I would like to have seen more of like the OG guys like actually training the new Ghostbusters. like a Ghostbusters Police Academy.
Them OG guys be expensive, okay?
Yeah. That's why you only get a Venkman in like 2 scenes. You get him like doing the interview with Kamal Nanjiani and to like see if he's possessed, and then he shows up at the end for the final battle, where you find out he's been hiding whiskey in the power box. He's like, oh, it's still here, my liquid courage.
Ghostbusters, powered by whiskey since 1984.
Oh, and of course, Ray's gone full YouTuber with his like tales of the unknown, where people come to see if their objects are haunted.
We need a hammer.
Oh, it's not haunted, and like smash with the sledgehammer. Sorry, the hammer gets the clicks. As a wannabe YouTuber myself, I'm like, I feel you, kid. Sometimes you got to do dumb shit to get the clicks. Look, every time I say something stupid and I piss people off and they argue with me, I'm like, yes, feed the algorithm.
Engage.
Let the hate flow through you.
Doesn't say it's got to be positive.
Nope, they just want that interactions. I felt like we were talking about how kind of disconjointed the whole thing was with these little kind of individual side quests everyone was doing. We got our other 2 characters from the last movie that they just kind of... We jumped from Oklahoma back to New York, and then we had to like... All right, we got to figure out a way to include these 2 new characters that we introduced in the last movie. So, of course, and I can't remember her name now, but the... their friend they made, Lucky, yeah, she's like apparently interning at this paranormal research center and testing out the new ghost busting equipment, which had that cool like wrist blaster thing, which I'm pretty sure was like in some of the animated stuff. And then of course Podcast is now interning at Ray's shop, helping him with his YouTube channel.
So one thing I was thinking about this, I was really getting like 13 Ghosts type vibes when they showed like the engineering firm and their lab and everything
little
with all the glass containment units. I was like, fucking 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, now you mentioned that. Yeah, that I did like the because they got like the different, because it's the building's in a former aquarium, so they basically got ghosts and fucking aquarium exhibits. And you're like, now we don't just have to bust them; we can study them and learn more about them. And we've got all these different scientists working on this shit. But I like the possessor ghost that could just reanimate any inanimate objects, and they got him like a fucking 1970s like living room set. He's just jumping around from like toy to toy, the phone to. He's like just an angry little ball of light.
It's like, behave. I'll give you a toaster. A toaster?
Oh,
that would have been a cool guy to have on the team.
That's one thing. All this nostalgia when they all get arrested, and again, because it's not a Ghostbusters movie unless somebody gets arrested, and the mayor's threatening to shut them down. I was waiting for their high-powered attorney to show up and get them off. That's the only guy we've not seen a cameo in the new Ghostbusters is fucking what's his name?
Fuck.
The Keymaster. Louis Tully. Because in Ghostbusters 2, he went from being an accountant to a lawyer. Winston became this big business guy. I would have liked him to showed up because he was a shitty lawyer in number 2. I would liked him to have showed up and been an actual high-powered attorney at this point and been no, I'm serving the city with this injunction. You can't fuck with the Ghostbusters. That would have been, I know the dude's kind of retired from acting at this point, but come on, that would have been awesome to have him just show up there at the end and be like, no, I'm stopping the firehouse has now been declared a historical landmark and y'all can't fuck with it. Fuck off, Dickless.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the same. It's like the Spider-Man effect. It's like no good deed goes unpunished. It's like, yeah, we saved the city, possibly the world, but we're right back to square one in your eyes. Great.
Yeah, because it's all about that collateral damage.
Oh, now I want a sweet proton pack.
All right, well, let's jump back to the pre-credits of the movie with the Gentlemen Explorers Club in 1904, where NY fire department gets called to a guy's freezing to death in the middle of July because everyone in this room is and the effect of the guy who is completely frozen and his hand has snapped off, and it's still turning the damn crank on the on the old timey record player.
Yeah, I mean that was the
that's
thing.
Cool as shit.
They didn't skimp on any of the effects,
even the ghosts themselves. I mean, I was like, man, the technology has advanced so much that the fucking flying dragon through New York. I was like, all right, this is cool as shit. I mean, even fucking I think Slimer's gotten a little fatter. He's been putting on some weight, but homeboy looked good. I'm like, oh fuck, man, there's Slimer. And he even kind of showed up and helped out a little bit and fucking came after when the demon showed up.
All the other ghosts are like, oh shit, the big bad's free.
And of course those stupid fucking little mini Stay Puft guys are they're so stupid.
Dude,
but they're awesome.
I would love to see fuck the Minions, right? Give me a Stay Puft Marshmallow series, or Yeah,
I'm surprised that's not a new animated series coming soon. Is this the adventures of the fucking Stay Puft. Dude, fucking sticking his face in the cigarette lighter, just burning the rings.
How many kids are like, what happened here? I don't understand.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
Why is there a hot coil in the car? Well, kids, back in the day, cars used to come with lighters and ashtrays.
And cup holders.
You know that thing where you plug your cell phone in the car? Used to, you would stick a plug in that, and it would get hot, and you could light your cigarette with it. We're old.
And they work with cigars, too. Sometimes though you gotta, go back for a second, third round of.
Yeah. Depends on your ring gauge. Yeah. You got to get a smaller cigar to fit in those old school lighters. I mean, I think the last time I saw one in a movie was like Deadpool, when he like is in that car fighting those assassins, and he like grabs the freaking cigarette lighter and sticks it one dude's mouth. I'm like, does cars still have those? It's like I haven't seen one of those since like the 80s.
It's an optional accessory.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw. It was probably like the late 80s, the last time I had a vehicle that had one of those included.
I got in somebody's old car that had one, and guess what? My first instinct was push the button. Like I can remember like my parents like going to the grocery store or something and be like, okay, stay in the car. Sit there and just push it. See how hot you can actually get it.
Yeah. Kids, when it got hot enough, it would pop up. That's how you knew it was time to light your
yeah, but then you just
cigarette.
push it in and hold it.
Fucking thing melts down.
I'd just start blowing fuses. Dad's like, you been playing with a cigarette lighter? No. Of course, he'd take it out and be like, are you lying? No.
Yes.
Like, thinking you're going to talk your way out of it? No. No chance in hell. I'm the reason your fuse went bad.
Yeah. And we've got the random inclusion of Kumail Nanjiani as Nadim, who is the fire master. Apparently he is the great-grandson of the girl who you saw in that kind of the Frozen sequence. She was like some kind of mystic, and she was the one who trapped said god, or at least was like her family was keeping said god trapped in the fucking Rubik's Cube of death.
Dude, that looked like a hard puzzle to solve. Like, I'll fuck up a Rubik's Cube. That thing had a whole lot of other variables.
Yeah, they should have had the fucking Hellraiser puzzle box in that room when they find him, because yeah, he tries to sell it to Ray because Ray's collecting occult things for his YouTube channel, and so yeah, he sells that to Ray because he's like, I just eBay shit. Like, I inherited this apartment. There was a fucking temple hidden in the closet with a bunch of spooky shit, and I decided to get $50 out of it. And turns out I unleashed a god.
Oops.
Tall, dark, and horny.
Well, I mean, his quest was to find the horns.
And I do like that, once he's freed, like the first thing he's like, all right, the only person who can stop me is the Fire Master. I must kill the Fire Master. So he just goes to some place called Fire Master Vapes. Which, of course, that's the name of a vape shop. And it's like, are you the Fire Master? That's what the fucking sign says, dude. And then it's like, like freezes everybody. It's like, wrong Fire Master, dude.
It's funny, you don't even need fire for vapes. Gosh, what an idiot. You call yourself a god.
Yeah, I mean, they should have named the store like Cloud Master or something. Puff the Magic Dragon.
Stay puffed. It's now a vape shop.
Stay puff puff pass.
I think Snoop's already got a trademark on that, man.
Probably. He does have his own weed company. Well, then so does Mike Tyson. You can even get Mike Tyson, because Gurkha released that Mike Tyson cigar, and when trying to Google information on the Tyson cigar, I came across his like weed company, and he has edibles that are gummy ears.
I mean, that's how much more nostalgia do you need?
Just
bite it like a champ.
Oh. A bit his ear.
You can't prove it. Those aren't my teeth marks.
But you allude to our Juliet and Juliet story of, once they get in trouble for breaking up, fucking up the city, Phoebe gets, played by McKenna Grace, gets sidelined because the mayor's like, she's not 18. She can't be a Ghostbuster. So, previous movie, she's playing chess with Ghost Grandpa. So she's like, goes to the park at night to try to find somebody to play chess with, and a ghostly teenager shows up and plays chess with her.
Hold on. Was that Ghost granddaughter?
No.
We're positive?
Yeah. She was alive.
I mean, I know we
It
had
was the friend that was the ghost. But then again, she tries to turn herself into a ghost. Like,
well, no, I'm not talking about Phoebe. I'm talking about the ghost girl. Was that the grandfather passing on the chess lineage, and now her arc is, oh no, I'm over here on this realm, and I want to cross over to the other side, but all I have is my lonely match.
Yeah, supposedly that's why she was kind of cursed to hold that, can't get rid of that match, because she was apparently playing with matches and burned her apartment complex down, killing her family, but her soul could not rest. All she can do is like haunt people in the park. Yeah. And of course, like, they're playing chess and she like appears and it's like, boo, and she's like, yeah, whatever. She's like, you're not scared? Most people like run away. She's like, no, I'm just kind of pissed you beat me at chess. Let's get another game going. It's like, you're not the first fucking ghost I've seen, lady. Like,
I do this on the reg.
but how weird would that be to be like, a ghost, to come across someone who just does not give a fuck? I mean, she is a little bit, on the spectrum. So Ari doesn't really have like normal emotional response is the thing. But then it's like, ghost show up and be like, hey, what's up? I feel like a ghost showed up here, I'd just be like, hey, what's going on, dude? Boo. Yeah, whatever.
Are you a friendly ghost? Are you a murder ghost?
Do you have murder boners? Yeah, but that whole story got a little weird because I was like, all right, is this like she's the only person that understands me? Is this I can only talk to this other ghost teenager? To the point where I'm like, is she gonna make out with that ghost? Like, I kept waiting for like a ghost to make out scene.
Yeah, I kind of felt like if it had drawn on, that's. But then again, like, maybe I was just reading way too much into that. And
yeah, maybe I've just read too much fan fiction at this point, and I'm just like, uh-oh. Are we about to have a ghost love story?
Reminds me of an Insane Clown Posse song.
All right. That's not a reference I was expecting to get today.
Well, I mean, they were talking about being in love with a ghost. So, you brought up a ghost love story. Reminded me of that song. That's how we got there today. Okay. It's really Faygo in my cup.
But yeah, you get all the side quests because you got kind of like Stranger Things. All the little groups get broken up and they all got to go on their own side quests. So Finn's character, him and Lucky and the engineer guy go to interview the origin of the mysterious orb and go meet Nadim. And then you've got fucking Phoebe and Ray and Podcast going to like, all right, we found this audio that only the ghosts can hear. Let's go do research. And they go back to the old original library from the first Ghostbusters. And like they even got the original like librarian who's like, Dr. Stance, you're not allowed within 50 foot of this library. He's like, don't worry, they love me here. And he just like walked right past the guy. I'm like, they got the same guy. Sweet. And you find Patton Oswalt is the language expert. And like you were saying, that like now that I know like every library has like if you the real library like it's like the ground floor is for tourists. You got to go to like the basement area to find all the cool shit.
Yeah, that's gonna be next time I need to visit a library. I'm gonna be like, look, I want to see this shit. And you know what it's gonna be? They're gonna take me to like a back room somewhere, and it's gonna be newspaper clippings.
Here's the microfilms. maybe you got to go outside of like you got to go to like a big city that has like a big library to find the
or just a really haunted place.
Yeah, where's the old section where they have the
I want to go to the
books in
original
glass
Salem.
cases. I did like because he shows them he's like, oh, this is language is a dead language, but it's reference from this orb is referenced all the way back to like long ass time ago, and the last time it showed up was in 1901 when this whole room of people like froze to death in the middle of July, and we have the recording that they were playing, and of course the possessor has snuck along for the ride and to steal the magic incantation that can open the trap. And as they're chasing him through the library, you see the reader ghost is still there in the library, the one from like the original Ghostbusters. And like Ray stops, is like, oh shit, it's her. And she turns around and does the scary thing again, which when I was a child, that scared the fuck out of me.
Oh yeah,
the first time I saw that.
Like Ghostbusters, like it had its moments, like it's lighthearted, blah blah, and then all of a sudden it's like, fuck, not a friendly ghost.
Get her. That was your whole plan, Ray. Get her. I did like Ray's motorcycle because that kind of reminded me of Ecto 2 from the animated series. Like it had like a built-in fucking proton pack and shit in the sidecar. I was like, all right, that's badass. The Ecto chopper. I was just waiting for the Ecto like helicopter from the animated series. It was like part helicopter, part motorcycle. I was waiting for that thing to like take off flying.
Yeah, where are all the badass toys? Like there used to be so much cross merchandising with everything.
I mean, they got a Lego firehouse. You can
Yeah, what is that? $1,000?
probably Legos aren't for kids anymore
No, it can't be.
because they're all like
Like
a couple $100.
Not to jump ahead on your science or anything, but like I think they did a study and the average attention span has dropped from like 30 seconds to 8 seconds.
I don't doubt it because
Well, I mean, think of, all the fucking TikToks and all the shorts. What do people do? Just sit there and 4 seconds scroll, 4 seconds scroll, 4 seconds scroll. Like,
oh yeah, it's like the fucking TikTok generation. Even like making YouTube stuff until I started making shorts. Like my engagement went way up when I started making like the minute or less videos because that's what they're all geared toward now. Is that's what gets the views? Because anything over a minute long, people's like, I ain't got the attention span for that shit.
information overload.
Yeah, we're old. TikTok's ruining this generation.
Get off my lawn. I inhaled way too much pollen in Eclipse air today.
You eclipse so hard.
I mean, I did go out and stare at the sun. I was like, yeah, it's doing that thing. All right. That's really bright. Even though it's not so bright.
Yeah, I went out and used my steampunk goggles because they were like originally welding goggles before they got steampunked up, and I was like, I don't have any of those like sunglasses. I'm like, oh yeah, I got these welding goggles. So I'm like walking around the yard with freaking steampunk goggles on, looking at the sun like an idiot. I'm like, yep, there's an eclipse.
I'm a time traveler.
I didn't get any superpowers though that I know of so far, so I'm disappointed in that.
You just said that you know of. You haven't unlocked your potential yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna like burp and it's gonna like fucking flames are gonna come out here. I'm like light my cigar with my mind. I'm gonna get some bullshit, useless superpower that's not gonna do me any good.
Dude, you're gonna sit there with a fucking candle, be like, okay, pass the flame, pass the flame.
Yeah, they're like, you're the descendant of the fire master. You're the only ones that can stop this ghost. So we need you to unlock your power. He's like, come on, man, just light the candle. You can do it. Light the candle. And he's like, look, I can make the Zippo move. And you're like, is that all you can do? Well, it just started. All right, buddy, keep working it.
We're not on a time crunch. It's fine.
Just keep practicing. Oh.
This generation's so soft.
But you do get, Venkman interviewing him, kind of like got the flashback of him and Louis Tully. He's even got the fucking strainer on his head, and he's like, I don't know what's going on, man. I'm just sitting in a weird office with you guys with a strainer on my head. He's like, this is like, expensive scientific equipment here, bro.
Apparently that was a good way to view the eclipse.
Through your strainer hat?
No, not through the hat. Just use the strainer.
Mm.
Look at the half moons. Our colander, not necessarily a strainer.
Yeah, colander. That's what those things are called. And I remember seeing a guy at Dragon Con, one of those, and I'm like, all right, are you Doc Brown or Louis Tully? Because I can't tell. You've both got weird, like, strainers on your, colanders on your head.
And no tinfoil.
Turns out it was Louis Tully. It was not Doc Brown.
Spoilers of a Dragon Con long ago.
Oh.
People are like, what did we just miss?
So what did I miss? Because when they went to the library and he starts like telling them about the demon, that's when I went to go pee. And when I came back, that was when the possessor was stealing the tape. So I missed the whole explanation of the fear demon.
I mean, not really. Because this thing was so skit oriented. Is that what we're gonna go with now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're going with. It wasn't like there were very few like you had to be there pivotal moments for this. I mean, so it was more so like, hey, here's the backstory. Okay, great. Oh shit, now we're at the lab. Little cube is falling apart. Bad shit's happening.
Yeah, because it turns out her ghost friend is actually in on the whole deal. Because supposedly,
I mean, there was like a little bit of a dialogue where like she goes to it's like, I'm working as fast as I can. I need more time. Does it have to be her? Blah blah blah. But
yeah, because apparently, even though
more teen angst drama,
they've got the secret password to unlock the box. It has to be a human voice. It can't be a ghost. So basically, she convinces her like, "Hey, we could be ghost friends if you become." She's like, "I got this machine in the lab that can make me a ghost temporarily." And then basically, as soon as she tricks her into leaving her body, they're able to possess her unoccupied body and make her say the magic words that unleashes the demon.
Now I have the song "Waking the Demon."
That was a cool effect though when she gets like possessed and her eyes goes like TV staticky when she gets taken over.
I don't know. I think for me, probably the creepiest thing, the doll. It's definitely had a creepy doll montage in it. By and large, though, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, the effects and everything are spot on. It's just like, I want more ghost busting. Like, instead we had like a drama, like of, well, this is what's going on in my life. Well, I'm over here doing this thing, and I'm over here doing this thing. The big thing happened. Now we all got to come together.
Yeah, so then all the Ghostbusters,
the movie ended.
Including Janine, shows up and suits up, and like, oh shit, there's Janine finally they just happen to all have uniforms laying around with their names on them, just in case. Oh.
Don't worry, there was a special at Cintas, the uniform people.
But hey, when the Possessor took over Ecto-1 and it went like full Christine for a minute, I'm like, fuck you. You do not hurt Ecto-1. You better not blow up that car.
So, do you want the Possessor driving Ecto-1? Or do we have what's-his-face, driving Ecto-1?
It goes full like Knight Rider. Like Ecto-1 just like becomes its own thing. Yeah, when the Possessor like I saw that like oh, there's the bag, and it's like bad things are about to happen, and of course like the famous stone lions come to life, and they got to blow it up with a proton pack. Maybe that's what happened to the lion down at the Marriott. It got possessed.
Isn't that bad?
So that's what happened to the poop lion downtown. Was it got possessed, and that's why it got broke.
Its head fell off.
I haven't been downtown in a while. I heard it got rebuilt.
I was down that way not too long ago, but I was on the opposite side of the Marriott. I didn't get to see the lion.
Poop lion gets possessed.
Yeah, can we do like a Dragon Con news type thing for that, Dragon Con TV? I mean, all you got to do is have a laser pointer and a lion statue and somebody that can CGI.
Should totally do that. That should definitely be a skit on DC TV this year. Is the poop lion getting possessed? Oh,
Poop lion just running amok through Atlanta. There's a lot of Atlanta. Maybe just running amok around the Marriott. Doesn't want to stray too far from his den.
Amok, amok, amok.
I was trying to come up with a theme song for that, but no. No rhythm worked.
But then we get, of course, the demon finally finds his horns and gets full powered and starts creeping down, because apparently when the containment unit blew the first time, it kind of put a little bit of crack in the realities, and he's like, that's I need to blow up the containment unit so I can build my ghost army and open a portal to the other side, and the Ghostbusters have to defend what's left of the and then you get like, all right, the proton packs have no effect on him because it's basically a god. It's like, well, the original Fire Master used brass to kind of contain it. What if we melt down the fire pole, because it's like, it's brass and it's been in next ecto adjacent for all this time and has to absorb all kind of like spectral energy. We can use that to make a new core for the proton pack, and
I have a steampunk core.
Yeah, it'd like use the a fucking brass powered proton pack, however that works. It did fuck up the ghost, but then finally, Ghost Buddy uses her one, because finally, like, he's like, I'm the Fire Master, I will destroy you, and it's like, shit, my Zippo's out of fluid. It's like, bro, did you run it dry? Well, you told me to practice. And they're like, is anybody got a light? And Ray's like, sorry, I quit smoking in the 90s.
Heard it's bad for your health.
But of course, Ghost Girl shows up with her one match and is able to light the fire. So between brass powered proton packs and the Fire Master, they're able to contain the ghost. And they're like, well, the containment unit's basically a giant ghost trap, and now it's empty, so there's plenty of room. And we've got jobs of security because we just released 40 years worth of ghosts back into New York, so we're definitely gonna have jobs for the next decade while we hunt down all the things that escaped the containment
like
unit
how does
again.
that work? Is there like ghost rehabilitation where it's like they put me in the dark for 40 plus years, I'm not doing that again. So now all the ghosts are helpful and assist the people in New York.
They're like, yeah, we don't want to go back. This thing too is like, I get the ghosts that are humans. But what about all these weird ghosts that like don't look like people? Like fucking Slimer and shit. Yeah, who was he like before he was dead? Or are these just like interdimensional beings that
It was a slug.
Some of them are people ghosts. Some of them are like just spirits from another plane of existence. So they're not necessarily humanoid. That's nothing. That's not something they ever kind of really explained in the Ghostbusters lore.
That's because you haven't been to the library.
Oh shit, we gotta go to the library. The next movie too, we have like, oh yeah, and at the end you get fucking Slimer getting chased by the sewer dragon has escaped and is trying to eat Slimer. He's like, fuck, I'm out. There's something bigger than me in this house now. Which is kind of funny because like, if you ever watch the old like real Ghostbusters animated series, like that's kind of how like after the containment tank blew and all the ghosts escaped, Slimer kind of stayed behind in the firehouse and eventually like kind of became like their dog.
Yes.
He was like, they made a pet out of him. Like, I'd like to see that, like, them, like, kind of, like, get a little more, like, friend, like, Slimer, like, actually start hanging out and being kind of like the mascot and shit and just, like, just really chilling in the firehouse. It's like, it's funny, it's like, because, and whatever, Ghostbusters.
Dude, snacks are really expensive.
Yeah, because in Ghostbusters 2, he, like, showed up and drove the bus for, like, Lewis and shit, and it's like, all this time, like, all the Ghostbusters have been retired and the firehouse has just been abandoned until the family moved back in. It's like Slimer's just been living in the attic chilling all this time under a mound of fucking snacks. Because we know Funyuns don't go bad, so I don't know how old those snacks were, but yeah. He's just living in his pile.
Shit, Funyuns are forever?
This is how I know Funyuns are nothing but preservatives. Well, that one time we went on a road trip to Ohio, you left a bag of Funyuns in my car that was like under the seats. And like, I don't know, 6 months later, I was stuck in traffic because there was an accident on 400. I'm just bored. I'm like feeling around my car, seeing what's in it. And I find this bag of Funyuns. I'm like, oh fuck, this is like 6-month-old Funyuns. And I'm like, they're still kind of crisp. And I like bit into it. I'm like, these taste exactly the same. This opened bag has been under my seat for 6 months and there's no like degradation in flavor. It's the same. So if you have an apocalypse bunker, stock that shit with some Funyuns because that shit does not go bad.
Yeah, dude. Funyuns and Mountain Dew.
It's just all preservatives.
Don't you hate on my Funyuns, you motherfucker.
I mean, Amanda's got some spicy queso Funyuns in the house, and they taste pretty good.
No. Don't fuck with the OG.
You're a purist. Your Funyuns have to be...
Keep your millennial bullshit to yourself.
It's like fucking Flamin' Hot, man. I can't stand the flavor of Flamin' Hot.
Dude, I can't either.
And they're putting that
like
shit in everything now. Yeah, they got Flamin' Hot fucking jerky now and shit. I don't know. I just never liked the fake cheese flavors. Like I like regular Cheetos, all right, but yeah, that Flamin' Hot is just. And I'm a guy who likes spicy, but I just don't like the taste of that shit.
So, how do you feel about spicy dill pickled flavored vodka?
Those are 3 words that don't sound like they should go together.
It's interesting.
Oh, it's like a pickleback, but with Tabasco in it. It just sounds not good.
I tried some just to say I tried it, and I don't know. I'm not a vodka fan, but
I mean, we do have some
behind spicy and dill pickle. I'm like, I can almost fucks with this.
I've seen a tobacco flavored vodka. I've heard it was disgusting. I saw it.
See, there's not like, if I want tobacco, I'm gonna get tobacco because like even the vapes and shit that claim they're tobacco flavored, like no.
It's like kind of anything that's supposed to be bacon flavored. I mean, all they do is pour a shitload of liquid smoke in it. And they're like, this does not taste like bacon. This tastes like liquid smoke. I'm drinking an ashtray.
I'm not drinking an ashtray, bro.
But supposedly from, and of course they trap the big bad, knock its horns back off. And now the whole town is it seems like the town hates them, and then like every once in a while they're like, all right, the Ghostbusters saved us, they're popular again. And of course the mayor tries to come and shut them down, but now like the whole city's like, yeah, the Ghostbusters. And somebody even like, they're like, yeah, why don't you give them props this time, dickless? I'm like, yeah, somebody said the thing. So now the mayor, of course, he's a politician, has to be like, all right, yeah, the Ghostbusters are all right with me.
Keep your firehouse. Do it. Shake the hands. Kiss the babies.
Yeah. And, yeah, even, Finn gets to drive the, Trevor finally gets to drive the Ecto-1. Again. Because he's been grounded from driving Ecto-1, apparently, since, he did in the last movie.
So by and large, like most of the skits wrapped up, except what's next?
Well, Winston has that speech that like, hey, there's people probably all over the world now experiencing weird paranormal shit, and who you gonna call? Like, we're here. Like, do we get like? Because I've heard like supposedly Aykroyd and Reitman have written another script for another possible movie, and I've heard interviews with Ernie Hudson saying that he kind of wants to be like a Nick Fury type character that kind of mentors all these like we might get like international Ghostbusters. He's like, I'd love to see me and like the boys like investigating a fucking castle in Europe and shit, you know. Like, do we go worldwide now and like hey, we've got a whole like Ghostbusters Incorporated where, you know, the Spanglers are running the New York firehouse, but now we've got firehouses in like these different countries tracking down like, you know, spectral shit in other nations and stuff. But they franchise out the
Spanish
Ghostbusters.
Spanglers.
We get like, you know, Ecto-1 Mexico City. We get like Ecto like
Hold on, Ecto-1 in Mexico City. I'm trying to envision it now. So it's got 13-inch rims, hydraulics.
I was gonna go with like an El Camino.
On hydraulics.
We get Middle East Ghostbusters, and they're driving like Toyota Hiluxes with like fucking proton blasters in the bed of the truck.
So disappointed we don't get the Hilux in the U.S.
Egyptian Ghostbusters, and they're like, you know, having to bust mummies and shit. Like go worldwide with this.
Dude,
shit.
it'd be like the Mummy all over again.
I mean, we did get a post-credit scene, which traditionally those tell you what's going to happen in the next movie. Like in the Ghostbusters Afterlife, you see Ecto-1 returning to New York and a kind of a caution light flashing on the containment unit. This one we get a bunch of Stay Puft Mini-Man stealing a Stay Puft Marshmallow truck. Do they somehow reconstitute and we get a full-size Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the next in the next movie?
I don't know, but them being an 18-wheeler, I'm like, this is so Resident Evil right now. Instead of zombies that stay puffed.
They start putting themselves inside Twinkies, and then people eat them, and they get possessed by little Stay Puft Men. We get like a whole like Stay Puft zombie apocalypse.
There's an epidemic of constipation.
All these campers are turning evil because they were roasting marshmallows and got possessed by tiny marshmallow men.
I think that would be a fun, quirky film. At the same time, I kind of feel like it'd be like Gremlins. Oh, you had water after midnight, did ya?
I mean, I still like Paul Rudd in this. He's such a likable dude. Like anything Paul Rudd's in is like, I'm like, all right. I don't care if his character's stupid or not. It's like I just love watching Paul Rudd do Paul Rudd things. Because Paul Rudd is pretty much just Paul Rudd in like every movie, whether he's Ant-Man or a Ghostbuster. It's just Paul.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd. Oh, I mean, overall, I enjoyed this movie. It wasn't as cohesive as Afterlife, but it was fun. I would like maybe just a little bit more cohesion in the storyline. because I felt like everybody was getting side quests and not getting like a whole lot of like focus. So yeah, like you said, I'd like to see more ghost busting. Cause we got like maybe one instant of them responding to a ghost, and then the rest of the time it's them fighting the big bad. But yeah, I said there's probably still more they can do with this story. I wouldn't mind a third installment of the next gen Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I just I don't know. Lines got really blurred for me on this one between, Ghostbusters and Stranger Things, and
I would like to see Reitman come back and direct, because like I said, I know he was involved in the writing of this, but yeah, I would love to seen him kind of lead the way like he did in the previous film, because that one was like I wanted more of the original Ghostbusters in it, but as far as the story we got, I was satisfied with it. I thought it was a good story, and like I said, it made you sad in all the right places.
well, I'm sad that this segment's over.
So what do you think of the wasabi here?
For it to be a Candela, I was kind of surprised. Like, I mean, I know, like, it was touted as it's spicy, but, like, I was pleasantly, like, I didn't get any of the grassiness or anything that I typically get with the Candela wrapper. Maybe because I was like, my tongue is spicy. My lips are spicy. My nostrils are spicy. Like, dude, it's legit got my nose running and stuff right now. Like,
yeah, because I'm not a huge fan of that Candela grassiness, but the thing is so fucking peppery. I'm not getting a whole lot of that that grass. So it's like, and I do like the old, was it Diablo Picante? Like, I like a pepper bomb. This is actually not a bad cigar. I'm pleasantly surprised.
yeah, I mean, it's not too often that we smoke anything from Espinosa. I don't know. Now I want sushi.
All right, well then, I guess we'll end this and we'll go get some gas station sushi.
Fuck yeah. I want a white dragon and a red dragon.
And with that, we'll be right back. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.